Jimmy, welcome to the game room.
This is the game room. There's a beautiful billiard table here. I think my wife would call this the library.
Could double as a library.
With the big built-in bookshelves. This is a nice little accessory. It's too bad you can't see it from both sides because that hallway is pretty phenomenal. And coming in, that would be pretty spectacular.
So it was suggested.
Okay.
I'll get to that in a minute. So I took over this client's tank about 10 years ago.
All right.
I got a call, I got a referral, and they said, come look at our tank. Everything's dead, but we got the fish that are alive down in a 55-gallon bucket in our basement. Come get them, take a look at it. So the tank was totally...
another story like that.
Sometimes that's how they start. You know, it can rise
What's
again.
going on here in Nashville? Because these are some amazing properties.
Well, what happened?
Did somebody come in and build some of these? And so it was suggested to be two-sided in this space.
Right. So when I took it over, it was totally stripped down. There's nothing in it. And I said, hey, this is a great space. From this side, let's replace it with something that's two-side viewable. So when you come down the staircase that they mostly use in the morning, whenever, you can look at the back of the tank.
Yeah.
They said, we're tired of our house being under construction. A house like this was under construction for quite a while.
I'm sure.
Not into the idea. Fast forward about 8 years, I had been running the tank. The client said, you know what, let's reboot it. Corals had gotten weedy, some corals had died, some other stuff had grown over them. So I said, great, let's reboot it. Let's bring it up again and take out the tank and swap it with two sides viewable.
Yeah.
I think I almost got it done, but they said, no, we're going to leave it as is. We're happy with how it is. So
I don't even know how you do it when you've got all this beautiful woodwork. How would you?
But it was redone because
This was all redone.
The original tank had about 4 to 5 inches of millwork overlapping the tank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When we did the reboot, we touched it, we pulled back the millwork and got like 10 more inches out of the tank. I actually know the guys who did the millwork. I met them afterwards and they're like, we were so nervous that we were going to break the tank. I was like, well, it's acrylic. You're not going to break it,
right?
But you're probably going to scratch it. But they did a really good job. So they did not only great looking work, but they didn't damage the tank.
So this is acrylic.
This is an acrylic tank.
Let me ask you about that because I've never owned an acrylic tank. Don't. Yep. That's the internet says don't own an acrylic tank. But I did work at the Seas at Walt Disney World. Yeah. And our windows into the main environment, which is 6 million gallons, is acrylic windows. But they're like, I think they're 2 foot?
Yeah, 2 foot thick.
They're 2 foot acrylic windows.
Yep. So in that case, you have to use acrylic.
Yeah, in that case, you have to use acrylic.
Yeah.
You can't have glass windows, but the divers are in there cleaning it. They also had to get in there and power tool scratches that would happen over time just with regular cleaning.
And people, the guests on the outside, scratching it. You look at an acrylic tank wrong and it scratches, it's just going to happen. When we rebooted this tank, brought someone in, he buffed this thing. They did a very good job buffing it. You could feel like you could put your hand through the tank. It was so clear. Did very good work. And then I built it back, new sand, new aquascaping, changed the fish around a little bit, and started the corals over.
This has to be kind of a servicing nightmare, I would think. How do you get down here? Because I don't think you can fit inside there, and you can't reach inside there, but there's a lot of stuff down here that, how do you do it?
Well, I do get in it about once every 3 months.
You get in it?
Yep, scrape
You're a little thinner than I'm not getting in there.
But the tank is 6 feet long. I'm 6'2", so I've got my feet kind of up in the corner. I got my head crammed against the tank, and I'm using it as leverage to scrape down the tank.
Do you put your goggles on and put your face down in there?
I got my scuba mask on and a scuba tank on a hookah rig, so I'm breathing through a reg. So
you breathe through a reg, so you can just stay down in there.
I can stay down here as long as I want.
Okay, I mean that's tight. It's like too big to not do it that way, but almost too small to do it that way.
Yep.
It's right on the edge of that.
Well, look, when the corals get grown in, what I would do is I would sit on the top of the tank and kick the coral to break a hole for me to fit in, take the frags out,
that's heartbreaking.
And I'd get down to the tank. It's going to grow back. It's fine.
Okay.
When I'm in here, I'll place new corals, use that opportunity to move things around, but I can reach the bottom of it with tweezers, long tweezers and the Tunzi tongs. Just reach down in there, grab it, move stuff around. But you're right, like it's down there on the bottom. You're not going to take a frag on a little disc and glue it with any precision. So you notice I've got the big Space Invader, Pectinia, I've got candy canes, bigger stuff that I can kind of move into the rock, and it's going to stay.
Before we talk about anything more technical, let's talk about the fish and the corals.
Yep. Pyramid butterflies are a very popular fish from Australia. You and I have seen that. This client used to like sea anemones. They loved carpet anemones, and I told them they will eat your fish, and they were okay with the risk until one day I came around the corner and it was eating their blonde naso tang.
Where is that? Is there one? There's nothing in here?
It's gone.
Took them out. Okay.
So they said no more sea anemones. They won't even let me put a bubble tip or a Chicago sunburst in here. No sea anemones in this tank. So the clownfish hang out in the Gymnopora. Hippo tang, yellow tang, gem tang, that's a standout fish that's in here. The lineatus wrasse is up there. You recognize that fish. Desjardins tang, magnificent foxface. We have a male and female Bellis angel in here. Pair of purple firefish, Melanaris wrasse, orchid dotty back, and then some anthias, to fill in this tank. And of course a whitetail bristletoothed, which was one of my favorite fish as well. SPS guy, definitely patient. He understands that it's a long game on this. So we have some SPS that are growing out. We have some LPS to provide some motion. Some chalice. This is a chalice. This is actually a piece of it. The original one was about that big.
Okay.
When I rebooted the tank, I took it out and chopped it down, started back with about a 2-inch frag, and now it's grown out. And then some, bread and butter Dunkins and stuff, but provide some motion. Hammers in here as well. Since this tank is tall and we use Acrylic Reef arches when I redid it, I was able to create some kind of hidden areas. If you look through the cave here, there's a chalice back there.
Yeah, I love it.
Like you wouldn't notice that at first.
Yeah, I was looking at it from here because it's such a cool view.
Yep. So I want to put those kind of things. There's a mycelium back in there, leather coral in the back that you got to move around the tank to see it. I want to give that tank that dynamic.
Yeah, it definitely has some interesting looks from different angles. Let's talk about some of the technical stuff.
Yeah.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flow pumps in there, power heads.
Yep.
I see this return line's oscillating over here, so you're getting some flow from that.
I'm getting some from that, and there's a closed loop in this tank as well.
Oh, all right.
The tank sits right over the basement, which is where the fish room is. There's a tray underneath the tank. It's drained as well. There's water on floor sensors. The last thing I'm going to do is put water on these floors. I haven't noticed these are really gorgeous hardwoods.
Don't spill any water in here. I'd be afraid to do anything in this room. It's just so beautiful.
Tank is lit by 5 Ecotech Radions with the narrow beam lenses on them.
All right.
So I get 150 par on the sand bed even at 4 feet. It does a great job. AI Blades is supplemental on a light rack, so I can move it up when I got to get in and service the tank. And then it's all run off Neptune Systems Apex. So again, I get alerts. I know if things are going on. I can change things. I can tweak the lighting, all that remotely, and keep an eye on it as well.
So what do you do for service here? Do you do water changes on this tank?
This tank gets automatic water changes.
Auto water changes.
It's happy on auto water changes. Keep it that way. When I get in the tank and dive it, I do a water change. I just use that time to vacuum out the sump.
Okay.
But it's happier on automatic water changes. The first version of the tank was happy on automatic water changes, so I kept it on it when I brought it back 2.0.
So how often do you have to visit this tank?
I'm here twice a week. Even if I'm not in there doing something in the tank, I want to put eyes on it and catch something quickly.
I would like to see the filtration. You said we got to go downstairs for that?
You take the elevator.
The elevator. There's an elevator in this house.
Yeah. Just hop on the elevator.
Let's go take the elevator. Whoa, it's behind a regular door.
You never know. Now the thing is, Jimmy, when we go down to the basement, no one's going to be able to hear you scream.
I'm on Tower of Terror.
You like Disney?
Here we go.
Welcome to the basement, Jimmy.
Yeah, it looks great, man. There's a lot again.
Well, it's nice that we have the basement to do it, and we have this little nook for the sump with its own concrete curb and floor drain.
I love when someone builds a home and says, I'm going to put in a saltwater aquarium, and has a design like this. The alcove, the drain, its own concrete curb.
The tank's right above us. Water comes down into the roller mat, skimmer box section, return, media reactors, and we have a refugium off to the side. We added this, and then when I rebooted it, we put the UV underneath on its own pedestal. So some changes have been made Some stuff has stayed the same, like the old rusty, trusty RODI unit. You can see that's got a good layer of rust on the bracket, but it works. We'll roll with it. Now this tank's a little different because you're seeing about 10 years of progression, not only in the tank, but also with me and how I used to do things. Because back in the day, it was okay to put the RODI unit on a piece of wood and the concrete. Now I do things a little bit differently. Yep.
So what are you dosing up there?
Well, it's got a calcium reactor on the tank, and then every now and then it's a little bit of bump through alkalinity and calcium. I noticed that through the automatic tester. I can just turn on the dosing pumps and bump it up a little bit without even having to be here. It's not like I gotta wait until I'm back. I can just do it with the touch of a button. Mixing station is behind you.
Yeah, that's impressive. Again,
up on its own pedestal, that's drained away to the floor, over here to the floor drain.
Again, super impressive. This space here is really cool. We're not gonna show it, but because it's a long hallway and it's between living spaces, there's some storage down here, and they've got just the most awesome Halloween collection here. I'd like to see this house at Halloween because there's a quite impressive collection there of decorations.
I rarely have to come down here at night, but there are times when I've got to come down here at night and there's no one home. I'm like, I know what's in that room, but I don't want to open the door. Scary movies and
There's a mummy right there.
Yeah. You want one for yourself now, Jimmy. You need a fish room.
I need a house like this. I do need a fish room, but I need a house like this.
You haven't even seen the pool yet.
Oh, the pool. I would love to see the pool.